Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I miss you all. We're halfway through the week. You're doing great. So proud of you. Hope you're doing great. Would love to hear about it. Maybe on Friday when we have our Zoom meeting, because Friday we're doing another Zoom. It's Silly Hat Zoom. We could talk about it. So on Monday, I introduced you to long I. So remember, we've been doing a lot of long vowel work. So prior to all this, we were talking about vowel teams with E, A, and U. Oh, not you. Oh. And I introduced long I. So remember, though, whenever I say long I, long A, or long vowels in general, that is when the vowel is going to say its name. Now, sometimes it says its name because of bossy E. Remember, superhero silent E. Or it says it because of a vowel team or combination. And we were introduced to long I on Monday. And I shared the anchor chart, and your assignment for the week is to write 3 sentences, one with IGH, one with IE, and one with Y, like a word from each of those in a sentence. So 3 sentences. One sentence has to have IGH word, one sentence has to have an IE word, and one sentence has to have a Y word. So make sure you're doing that if you haven't done so already. I'm going to do some work and show you some examples of sentences with that to help if you need it. Let's work on some word building so let's get into our learning target, and then we're going to move on to word building before we do our sentences. Okay. It's fine. It's upside down. Miss Lewis is just throwing things everywhere. It's great. I would restart it, but this is the real me, so welcome back. Okay. And now we're rubbing things off. Oh, goodness. Not enough coffee, friends. Not enough coffee, I tell you. Okay. So let's read our learning target, okay? I can identify. So again, parents, they should be reading this with me because they know I can identify. We do learning targets every day for everything that we learn. So I can identify long I, it says in, but we're rubbing things off, in a word. So we are identifying, remember the word identify is to find. Good job. So we are finding that long I in a word. Miss Liz is trying to do this with her left hand, and it's harder than it looks. I don't know why I did that, but it's okay. We're here. It's fine. Okay. So these were the 3 vowel teams with long I, or vowel combinations that we talked about. So we have IE. This one follows that when 2 vowels go walking, the first one does the talking rule. Remember? So our first vowel is I. So we know it's going to say the I sound. Over here we have IGH, which even though there's 3 letters, remember with vowel teams or vowel combinations, they only make that one sound. So IE, IGH. Both of these say I. And then we have Y, which also sometimes says the I sound, which we're talking about today. So these are our 3 vowel combinations. Remember, they make one sound. So 2 letters, 1 sound, 3 letters, 1 sound, 1 letter, 1 sound. That one's easy. Okay, so we're going to start, I want to start with the vowel combinations of I and E. Can you still see that when I do that? Okay. So I have some consonants down here that I'm going to add so we can build our word. So I want to make the word pie. P-I. So what's the first sound that we hear? The P. Good job. So I'm going to add the P, and then I say P-I. Do I have another ending sound? P-I. Nope. So I'm all done with that. So my word is P-I. Pie. I'm going to drop my P, and I want to add the T to make tie. So I'm going to add my T. It looks like a J. It's a T. It's weird. I know Miss Lewis's letters are goofy. But, so now it's I, tie. So even though there's 3 letters, remember this vowel combination only makes one sound. Good job. I want to make the word fly. Like I'm going to, if I were a bird, I can fly. So I'm going to see if this works. So I'll drop my T, and I'm going to add the full. Okay, we have that L blend. Does that look weird to you? It looks weird to me. So remember, when we're doing this, always think to yourself, does that make sense as you're learning and trying to memorize which vowel team goes where? So I'm actually going to get rid of my IE. We'll put that back up here. Let's add our Y. That looks a lot better to me, right? So we have fly. If I drop the full and add in the sh sound, do you remember what letter goes next to the at? I'm pointing at it. But remember, SH makes a sh sound, right? It's our digraph. So sh, I, shy. two sounds, because going into our digraphs, there are two consonants that make one sound, like SH makes sh. Good job. Now, if I want to make the word sigh, like I'm sighing. Let me drop my H and see how this looks. Looks a little goofy to me, right? So I'm going to actually move my Y back up, and let's look at our other vowel teams. What if we tried the IGH? That looks pretty great to me, so I love that. So I, sigh. Again, 4 letters, but only 2 sounds. It's crazy. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to keep my sigh, and I want to add the t to the end to make the word sight. Okay? Now let's change this word to flight. So we can keep this it right here, but I'm going to drop this and add my F or my L blend back up there to make flight. If I drop my F now, I made the word flight. Good job. Let's do one more. I'm going to drop my and add my n. What's my new word? So remember, think of it. This is our it family, okay? And we dropped the and I added the n. What's my new word? So with that new beginning sound, my word is night. Good job. So backing to our learning target, we are identifying long I in a word, okay? So now I'm actually going to flip the camera and show you a couple sentences and how you can write them. We're actually going to write them together, okay? So hold on one second. Okay, so what we're going to do is I have a piece of paper right in front of me. My name's already at the top. You don't have this. I didn't assign it, so parents, if you're trying to look for this, I could send it to you. If you want it through an email, you would have to print it, but this is just an example I'm using to show our friends. So I have 1, 2, 3 different pictures. Now, here's your hint. Each of these pictures is going to contain one of our long I vowel teams, okay? So what we're going to do is I want us to figure out how to spell each of these words, and then I'm going to write a sentence that matches the picture. Because remember, when we've done activities like this, I love when your sentence matches the pictures. And these pictures kind of help spark words that we might not know or sentences that we might be struggling with, okay? So our first one, what does it look like they're doing? It looks like they're having a fight. Fight. So that's one of our long I words. So I'm going to write actually our vowel teams up here to help remind me of the ones that we can use. Can you see that? Okay. So my first one is fight. So I hear that f sound, and I remember we wrote the word night when we just built it, and I remember that was an IGHT family word, okay? So my word is fight, and I'm going to underline that long I sound right there. So there are 3 sounds, 1, 2, 3, but there are 5 letters, and again, that's because that makes one sound. Okay, now I'm going to write a sentence using the word fight. So I'm going to actually write it, capital, so I'm going to write, we had a fight about a bear. So I'm going to start it over here to make sure I have room. Remember, Miss Lewis doesn't love when we leave space for no reason. So capital W at the beginning, it's starting our sentence. So we, oh, look, Miss Lewis still practicing her finger spaces, had. So these words that I'm spelling, we had a, these are our sight words. So you can either try to hear the beginning sounds to go with it or look at your sight word list, or a lot of us have these memorized. So we had a, gonna go down here, fight. Circle that because that's my long I word. About a bear. Periods go at the end, okay? So you see how I took this and I looked at the picture. I'm like, they're fighting about the bear. But is the word fighting one of our words? No. So I said, we had a fight about a bear. Does my sentence make sense? Sure does. Do I have capitals and finger spaces? Sure do. And do I have periods? Absolutely. And I made sure I used my sight words and I sounded out my letters and sounds for words that I may not know how to spell. Let's do this one. So this one, there's an egg in a pan. So when we're doing this, we could be making a fried egg. So our word is fry, okay? For those of you who might not know. So they are making it, they are frying, but we're going to use the word fry. So fur, that's an R blend. So I already hear the right? And so are we going to use I-E or Y? Let's think of the word fly that we did, right? The only letter that we really changed was So I'm actually just going to add the Y. Now let's think. Does that look right? Sure does. Does it make sense? Absolutely. So now we're going to write this in a sentence. I'm going to write I. Now remember, this is a sight word, and yes, it gets capital because it's in the beginning, but the sight word I is always going to be capitalized. I like to fry, circle it, my egg. Period at the end. Checking for capitals, finger spaces. I used my sight words and I tried my best, okay? Okay, last one. What is this? Pie. Now remember, I gave you a hint. Oh, forgot to underline that. That if I'm using, that we are using one of each vowel team. So which one? So we used IGH for fight and we used Y for fry. So that tells me I-E. So for I is last and this is pie. So spell it with me. Ready? P-I-E. Good job. And I'm going to make my sentence. I love to eat. Ooh, look, I added another vowel team right there. See it? E-A makes the E sound. I love to eat pie. Period at the end. Okay? So these are to help you if you haven't, let me circle it. So if you haven't figured out your sentences or even done them yet, you can use some of these words. Can you use the same sentences? No, we know that already. But you can use the words if necessary, okay? So I'm going to turn this back around just to review our learning target one more time. Okay, so we just practiced our sentences and we just practiced building words, all with the long I sound. So hopefully that helps if you haven't done your sentences yet, you're still a little confused. So our learning target was I can identify, which we also said was to find long I in a word. Now remember, long I says the I sound. The vowel says its name. Okay, so we did that with we identified the words in the pictures and wrote them in sentences, and we identified the words that we built, and we identified or found where each of the I sound was. Okay, so I want us to do a quick thumbs up. And you can either text or send a picture of it through Messenger or comment down below how the student felt or how you felt. So, thumbs up if you're like, wow, this makes a lot of sense, Miss Lewis. This was great. Thumb in the middle if you're still a little confused, and then thumbs down if you really have no idea. Now remember, it does not matter where your thumb is, but if you're not honest, am I going to be able to help? No. So make sure you give yourself the honest answer of where you are, and then I can plan ahead and see if we need more time on it. All right, miss you all. Hope you're doing great. See you on Friday at our Zoom meeting. Don't forget.